Salaam Nerds is brought to you by halalshirts.com, where you can find fun novelty gifts for your Muslim friends. While you're at it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel.
Oh,
Yo,
wow.
Salaam Nerds! I got a commercial. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I made a little intro for us.
Yeah, speaking of halal shirts, gotta represent. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Come on,
It's not a halal shirt, but I wore my Miss Marvel shirt for you.
yeah, close enough.
That's dope. So guys, I would like to apologize. I didn't start with the yo. I am actually in Dallas, Texas for a wedding. So I am filming from, I don't have my equipment, I don't have my lighting, so please excuse us. And I didn't give Jazz a nickname this episode. Oh no.
Oh no. What would you give me a nickname as though? Like might as well just like
You know what? Let's do it. Let's restart it. Let's start over again. Okay. Ready? Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neves, aka Watch with Neves, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Jazz.
Oh, okay. I actually get that one because I watched this. So nice.
I am in Texas, so I had like when in Texas, why not, right? Why not? So yes, this is awesome.
You could have done the stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas.
Oh, I don't know that one.
How is anyone supposed to know that? Yeah.
So that's actually a little trick you can do to figure out if someone's Texan. If you like go anywhere in the world and say the phrase "the stars at night are big and bright," like we're like seals, right? Just trained to just on cue, like.
Oh, I thought you meant like Navy SEALs. You mean like actual SEAls?
Yeah, it's like actual seals, like like right on cue. We will all do it.
Oh, nice. Well, listen, we have to first introduce our guest. We have Shiv. She is a TikTok creator who I met when I was doing the Miss Marvel stuff. She is an amazing photographer. Like, everybody go check her photography out. It's amazing. I want to get married just so she can shoot my wedding. That's how amazing she is. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Please don't tell your parents about me because that's way too much motivation for them for you to get married.
Oh man. Oh, that's true. I don't need that. No, welcome.
Tell us, where can we find you?
Yeah, so all my photography stuff on Instagram is chivalry_Inc. I've been shooting for about a decade.
Chivalry. I just got that. Chivalry. Bro, I'm an idiot.
That's really embarrassing for you. And then on TikTok, I'm Shiv_ALRY. Same pun, just a little bit of a abbreviation so that you understand my name is Shiv.
Nice. Well, thank you. So tell us a little bit about what you do on TikTok.
Yeah, so I focus a lot on South Asian representation because I didn't really see a lot of people focusing on that niche when it comes to like film and TV. And then I obviously came across a bunch of people once I started, which was really, really awesome to like kind of create this little brown community. I'm very proud to be a part of that because first of all, I think all South Asians like to congregate in groups. So it's like makes me feel really comforted that we have this little, niche.
For sure.
But there's just also this year seems to be like brown year. Like 2022 is really doing it up for the brown people.
Hell yeah.
It is the year of the brown people, man.
And there's so much to talk about. So that's kind of why I started because I used to just like write little Instagram write-ups of like my feelings on shows and movies. And then people were like, oh, you should start on TikTok. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. And it was just really nerve-wracking because I didn't see anyone that looked like me talking about stuff like this. So yeah, but now I feel like I've got like a really good groove and trying to build a community. I'm trying to build like a following where people understand why representation is important because it's a big deal to me. So yeah.
Very cool. I luckily I feel like so many people have found each other through Miss Marvel because Miss Marvel was like our one time to shine and be like, hey guys, move out the way. We got this. And we got to like meet each other and learn about each other, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
But today's episode is going to be about Indian matchmaking. And we already did the first, what?
I was laughing.
You're gonna say, we're going from Miss Marvel, this glorious show, and then we're like,
we're going to Indian matchmaking.
I know.
It's a complete
like,
180.
It was like this is our culture. Now it's like, this is our culture.
Miss Marvel, a love story to South Asia, and we're gonna switch right to a show I have to hate watch because
Yes.
I cannot watch this. I hate
It's like
it.
a horror story to South Asia, right? Oh man! So we went over the first 4 episodes, and I think from 5 to 8, what we do is we start off on Arsenal. Arsenal is going on his dates, and honestly, he is the most wholesome guy. I love him. Shiv, tell us a little bit about what you think of Arsenal.
I think it's first of all great to see a sick Punjabi guy on the show, because I feel like the show so far has not given us that. And then I think last season there was a Punjabi girl who was divorced, which was also a really interesting storyline to follow. And you kind of hear a little bit about the Punjabi community mentality behind marriage with her, and how she kind of like was outcast because she's divorced. Just an update for people that know she's married now, which is awesome.
Hey.
But yeah, Arsenal's whole story, and I think his approach to it is what makes him so wholesome, right? I feel like the other people that we see, no shade. I don't want to throw shade to these people, because like I understand how hard it is to be in this dating pool. Like it must be terrible, you know?
No throwing shade, but maybe a little nudging, and shade.
He's also just so open about it. Whereas like I feel like a lot of people had the lists and they're very, very like stuck to those lists, but he seemed to have like just a little bit less on his, you know, and he was like, I'm okay to compromise. So I don't know. I think he, first of all, makes for great TV, but also it's just really nice because he does, again, bring this like slight bit of representation to him of like, hey, I'm a Sikh, I wear a turban, I want you guys to feel comforted by my presence, which is important, especially in reality TV where we've like literally never seen a Sikh turban character, you know, like, so I think that's why he is important and also so wholesome.
I love how wholesome he is, and you're right. His list was very fluid, right? It's like a lot of these people had like lists, and they were very like strict on it, right? It was concrete, where his list was a little bit more fluid, and I feel like that's how it's got to be. You can have these like, you know, deal breakers or things that you want, but they're more like guidelines. They shouldn't be like rules, which I thought was really, really cool. So he got to go on 2 dates. The first one was with a girl named Anjali, and they went mini golfing. Have you guys ever been mini golfing on a date? I thought that was a cute date.
On a date?
Yeah.
No, I've never been mini golfing on a date, unfortunately. Like yeah, it's a really cute date idea, but here's the issue, right? We have Top Golf, so like I'm just like, it's not exactly mini golf, but like
yeah.
Right. So it's a little different, but I've never done mini golf itself.
I think that mini golf is like a maybe like teens to 20s, late 20s activity, and then Top Golf is like
fair
level, you know, the you graduate to Top Golf. I have mini golfed, not on a date, but just like with friends. So
Right,
it's like the go-kart thing too from one of the first 4 episodes. I think like just seems a little bit too immature, you know, like we gotta be.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Hold up. Go-karting's immature for a first date?
Yeah, because you can't talk. Like, I mean, it's good that it's competitive. I think that like competitive sports are a great way to get to know someone for sure. But like, you can't talk when you're in a go-kart. This person's like way ahead of you, way behind you, you know, like where's the discussion happening? Especially these people are like about to be married, you know, like they're trying to get married ASAP. So like, I feel like the conversation's got to go, you know?
Completely fair. Yeah, no. I'm being stupid.
That makes sense. Sometimes you got to get the adrenaline pumping, man. Maybe like you get the adrenaline pumping, and then you go and have dinner, and then like have lunch or something and meet, right? So I think it can work.
Well, then why not just go skydiving on a first date? Really get the adrenaline pumping.
I would. That's something that I would totally do. You guys know me. I'm crazy. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. Like, let's go.
That's
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in Neebs, at Watch with Neebs on TikTok and Instagram.
That's the first thing on Neebs' list. Must skydive on first date. Like, or else. That's it.
Or else.
Yeah.
The hard requirements, or else.
And then he went on another date with the girl Rinku, and they went ice skating, which was also very cute. What do you guys think of that one?
See, that was cute because you can talk, and there's like room for like, you know, physical touch too. So I feel like there's like, that's a good activity-based date, right? And it's cold, like you can cuddle up with people. Like, I don't know. I just, it also matches his personality though, you know? Like, I just feel like it was very him. See, but with mini golf, like, what are you going to teach her how to mini golf? Like, the thing is, like, the target's like 2 feet away, if anything. Like,
yeah,
you know?
true.
Let me tell you something though. As someone who can't ice skate, the first time on ice skating was horrible. 90% of the time, I'm on my ass, just like, you know, like falling over, like
And
going over things. What?
This girl was falling like left and right.
Yeah.
She was a champ. She took those falls like a champ.
Mm-hmm. But like, this thing, like, I don't know if I'd ever do that again, but you know, good for them.
All right, well, let's move on to Shithol. Shithol, she was, you know, she did a lot of dating in her heyday. She went on dates all the time. There was a guy who was very consistent, and she didn't appreciate consistency. I kind of felt like he was the one that got away. I mean, the way she was describing him. What do you guys think?
Yes and no, because she like found this awesome guy, you know. Spoiler, I mean, it's a spoil.
This is spoiled. Yeah, go ahead and spoil everything. There's no point in saying spoiler warning here. We're on, this episode's titled Indian Matchmaking, episodes 5 through 8. So, you know, go ahead.
You haven't watched it yet. I don't know what you're doing, first of all. But,
no, like, leave if you haven't watched it yet.
But I think that with Sheethal, like, she started posting a lot on TikTok, as all of these other peeps have also started doing. And she's, like, really big on manifestation. So she was talking, I think, a little bit about it on the show, but on TikTok, she's, like, hardcore about, like, you know, I've really manifested this for myself kind of thing. So, you know what? I'm happy for her. I think that I thought it was a joke that guy like danced for to like cure patients.
Yeah,
but that's like reality. Like that's what I mean, it's probably not exactly all he does. I'm sure he's an actual practicing physician, but like on the side, he like dances for cure, and that's pretty awesome.
I really liked her. I think she's really cool. It's just very convenient the way it ended. I've like almost like, okay, if I was a very I'm not saying what happened. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm saying if I was a very cynical person, I would think maybe they were already in a relationship. She went on the show for a little exposure, dated a few guys, knew it wouldn't work out, and then was like, by the way, I met somebody. And then they put him on TV. Like, you didn't even meet him through the process, and they put your entire date on TV. That's weird, bro. I'm just saying, it's a little weird.
Not just that, right? She met this dude through her sister, right? This did not just happen organically if they were like filming in some other city or anything. Like, this had to have happened earlier. I do not believe one bit that she didn't know this guy before they started recording the show.
Wow.
Listen, we don't, allegedly, we don't know. We don't know. We're not.
Oh, yeah, we gotta cover our ass here, allegedly.
First of all, both of y'all watch way too much Bachelor because you're acting like producers, like with this producer mentality of like, no, it can never be actually reality. Like, that's.
Jeeves, what have you done to me?
Fair. You know what? You're totally right. It might be the whole like me watching too much of The Bachelor and knowing how these producers work, but I don't know, man. It's a little convenient. Even, you know, I don't know what to tell you guys.
I'm happy to see a happy ending because last season, she had a 0% success rate. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think she has that good of a success rate in this season either. I think people found others like outside of.
She still has 0.
Yeah, she still has 0.
So I feel like in order to make the show at least a little bit entertaining and also like round it out for viewers, they kind of like have to show. Maybe it was a pre-match situation for her, but like I think they have to show someone ending up together, you know, like but I don't know. I'm happy for her.
No, I agree.
Favorites of the season.
Her list was long. She had a long list. Like, you're telling me she found this one person magically, like this long list? Like, every other person on the show cannot find somebody with a long ass list, and this girl just magically found it? Okay, sure.
Maybe she manifested it. How do we know, Jazz? Maybe she manifested it.
Yeah, manifested it because she knew it was going to be there the whole time.
Allegedly. We don't know. All right. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. I do want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'll bring her on the show and we can ask her.
You know what? Let's ask her. Yeah.
she's right here from Jersey. So, like, yo.
Hey, man.
I mean, but now she's in Miami, though, you know? She's with her man.
That's true.
Oh, that is true.
Homeboy was willing to move to Miami for her. That's right.
Let's talk about the people that she went on dates with, because she went on quite a few dates. She went on a date with that guy, Akshay. She went on a date with Akshay. he seemed really cool. He was in rock climbing. He was in good shape. He seemed like a pretty cool dude. Then she went on Viral, who went on a date with the other guy, Viral, the other girl, Viral. And that date was so awkward. But he just kept making jokes and jokes and jokes. And even Simanti was like, enough with the jokes.
What do you think? I appreciate that though. I think first of all, I'm obviously not a fan of Simanti because she be wildin', all right? But like specifically about the jokes thing, like I like funny men. I think a lot of girls appreciate funny men. I think that this man was making jokes because he was uncomfortable, which is why he was like trying to be like, hey, relax. But I think what was more awkward was their date at a furniture store. Like that's like taking an idea and being like, hey, let's do this. Let's talk about life and marriage and kids, like while we're
but that wasn't with shit though. That was with Viral and Viral.
Oh, that was with Viral. Oh, but it's the same guy though, right?
Same guy.
Yes,
same guy.
Same guy.
Got it. But he met her parents, and that's why he was making the uncomfortable jokes.
He was having a better connection with Sham, her like brother-in-law, than she was with the girl.
You're not wrong.
Which once
That
again,
was wild.
I'd be like, okay, you can get along with my family, even when I'm not there. Kind of like what it to me was a plus. So like I think that she wasn't physically attracted to him, and that's kind of where it stopped for her, But
I believe it.
Yeah, I don't think the funny thing was a bad thing necessarily. I don't know.
I don't think it was a bad thing either because I'm like that too. I joke all the time, but it just felt very uncomfortable.
But see, that might be a cultural difference too, right? Like maybe the whole Seema not understanding that making jokes, making light of a situation to feel more comfortable is like maybe a cultural difference that she just doesn't get. And like silencing him was just like, now he can't be himself. So he's going to be this like fake ass dude, so.
Yeah, that's true. What about Avanish? Avanish, who she went on a date with, and he was like really tall and
Aparna's cousin?
Aparna's cousin, yeah.
Yeah, he's Aparna's cousin. Interesting, huh? Interesting how these people get on the show.
Weird.
There's a producer
Almost as if you have money and you can go on the show. Huh, weird. Or if you know somebody.
Is he a client of Seema's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think he actually is a paid client of Simanti as well.
Why would he be a paid client of Simanti if he's Aparna's cousin and Aparna hates Simanti, right? Like she won't work with her. They weren't even on screen together this season.
Yeah, that's very suspicious. I don't understand. There's no logic, right? Though, because like obviously Aparna did not find a match. So like you would think that the parents would be like, didn't work out. So maybe she's not a great matchmaker, but who knows? I did think he has like that Southern charm on the date. Like there was a lot of really cute moments, I felt like. And then it went to the Zoom date, and then I feel like it tanked. This is why I'm so glad I'm not dating in this current age, because like I could not do a Zoom date. Like I would just be, my attention span would just be like, gotta go do something else right now. Like
I can barely do a Zoom podcast, man. I'm like, I'm like out of it, man. I need to be in my home with my microphone, and like it's like weird. My internet's so waggly. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But like it's hard to do one of those Zoom dates. I've never done a Zoom date. It's strange to me.
That's amazing. Y'all didn't do a Zoom date at all during COVID?
No, man. I was just like, I'm just gonna be single and depressed. I'd rather.
You're like, this is much easier than going on Zoom and talking to someone and eating food. Yeah.
Yeah. Depression is way easier than going on Zoom and trying to make people think you're interesting.
Luckily, I didn't have to do any type of online dating or Zoom dating because I am married and I've been dating my husband for a long time. But like, that's why I'm saying like I'm just not cut out for this life. Like I'm not cut out for online dating at all. I don't think so. It's not for me.
It's rough out here, I'll tell you.
It is. But like, okay, let's go back to the show because I do feel like this season felt a little opportunistic. I don't know, is that a word? I feel like people didn't have the right motives, right? Like, I think Nadia let it slip because when she was talking to Simanti, she's like, Simanti, you're going to find me a boyfriend? Simanti got so pissed. Yeah. She was like, are you serious? Are you serious? A boyfriend? Like, oh, come on, Nadia. Like, come on. What? Like, I thought that was interesting.
But with Nadia, too, it's like, but is that a cultural difference again? Because yes, technically, all of us at some point first are looking for a boyfriend or girlfriend first, and then it goes to marriage, right? Seema's whole thing is success equals marriage, but I do think that like a match would also equal success, but she hasn't even given us that at this point, you know. I think she was just genuinely frustrated because Nadia was not listening to her about Vishal, and then that just like completely tanked on her, and like, you know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I felt like it was a Freudian slip. I felt like she's not ready to get married, or she doesn't want to get married. I don't know, man. I think she's just looking for a boyfriend.
Oh no! Oh no!
If she's looking for a boyfriend, does that mean that she's not eventually maybe going to marry this man? Like maybe she's looking for a long-term relationship, and that's okay right now, you know?
I don't think that's the point of the show. I think the show is for arranged marriages, man. They're arranging this stuff, and like you're meeting for the point to get married. I think that's what it is, man. I think that's the goal. The goal is for a marriage, and if the goal is to have a boyfriend, then that's not really, I don't know, the spirit of what I think the show is.
Yeah, go on The Bachelor for that.
So listen, I have a theory that I want Nadia to be the next Bachelorette. First of all,
I would mind that.
Up in the mansion ASAP. But I also think she needs to date outside of her race. I think that would like maybe broadening her horizons maybe will like mix it up for her a little bit, and maybe she can actually figure out what she wants. But on top of that, the only success then, if we're considering someone on this show getting matched and married, is Pradyuman. And that is
but he did not get matched with that girl. He found her himself. He met her at a party.
Like, this lady is a fraud. I just don't know why she has a show.
Yes, this lady is a fraud.
She charges thousands of dollars. That's wild to me, and she doesn't have a single success rate on television. Like that's wild.
And it just makes me wonder, like, does she have some type of stats, you know, where these parents obviously are dropping all this cash for their kids? She has to have matches, dude. Like maybe just ones we don't see on TV, but like there's gotta be matches.
I mean, allegedly she has like a few thousand clients, and therefore you'd expect maybe 0.5% of them to be successful.
Yeah.
But like the odds are not in your favor at that point.
Yes. Is it 60-70? Is that the percentage that's successful? So that's the ratio.
When Arsenal hears 60-70, he's like, that's a C. And I'm like, that's exactly what I thought. Like, like, first of all, below average. Absolutely not. We're not doing that.
Yeah. All right. We have one more guy to talk about. Vinish. He was a tall guy who said he was athletic, and he was looking for a very athletic girl. And then he goes on this date with this chick, and he wasn't very happy. Then he goes on a date with a girl who was more, I would say, had more European standard of beauty, and he was super into her, even though she gave him nothing. She gave him nothing on that date, and he was head over heels for her, and then she turned him down. So what do you guys think about that date? Shiv, why don't you go?
I was actually going to ask from a male perspective, what did you think between the two different dates? Because as a female, it's obviously infuriating to watch that. Because I think Mossam, out of every single person on this show that has been on it, whoever they're dating or the main like clients, she was one of my favorites. She felt like the only first person that was on the show that like felt ready to be in a relationship, ready for the commitment, had like a lot of things going for her, was like really well-rounded. And like, what a champ for going on a double date with like someone's sister or like sister-in-law. Like what in the, absolutely not, first of all, but like what a champ for doing that. And then also just like passing with flying colors on that date, like impressing every single person except obviously this guy with like ridiculous standards. And then the other girl was like, I don't want to say that she was a 10 and this guy's a 5 or like anything like that, but like it was giving me those types of vibes, you know, like where they're clearly not on the same level. And like that to me seemed like a Seema mismatch, you know, like she just did not read those two biodatas right.
It's like one match is the type of like range he is in, and the other is the type of range he thinks he's in. Is kind of what I feel, right? I thought that was interesting, but like I don't know how he could have gone on that date and thought it went well, because it was cringe.
He's from Miami. What'd you expect?
He thinks he's funny. See, this is a difference between like actual funny and like you think you're funny. You know, like
he thinks he's funny and he thinks he's athletic and thinks he has good fashion sense, and I have not seen evidence of any of that.
Neither have I. Here's what I think actually happened.
Where's the evidence? Yeah. Where's the evidence? Where's She-Hulk? We need the evidence.
We're gonna get to that. That's our next podcast episode for those listening. We will be talking about She-Hulk a bit later. But what I think really happened here is that Vinesh can afford to live in Miami, right? Maybe he has some money. And if you give Seema Auntie enough money, she'll set you up with someone way out of your league.
Yeah, God. I didn't even think about that. Like, are there tiers to her mastermind?
I think so.
You get a different package, the ultimate package.
I mean, how else do you explain this? Like, oh my God, what's her name? The nurse. Crap, what was her name? I mean, hell, both Mossam and Mina, they were both amazing. And like, this dude just did not deserve either of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, he paid her more just to set this up, or they're doing it just for, like, the ratings. Like, this should not have happened.
Yeah. It reminded me of one of the guys last season that, like, found someone, but then that was, like, kind of nerdy like him, but then it didn't work out. And I just feel like I'm kind of glad that it didn't work out with Mossam because, like, you know,
She deserves better.
She's way better.
Way better. But I do think that they, like, had a lot of compatibility and, like, chemistry from that date. And then it just feel like he just didn't even want to give it a chance, you know? Like, that's the other things that these people give him, like, one date and that's it, you know? And that doesn't seem like reality either. I think the whole point of, like, progressive arranged marriage is that we get to do multiple dates because that's what our parents didn't get to do. So, like, shouldn't that be the case? Like, give him a chance and we'll see what happens, you know? Like, I don't know.
You know what?
No,
Really,
you're right. I mean, I do not think that this one date, you're done. Like, especially on a show like this should not be the standard or, like, the way they do this. Like, you don't know somebody even, like, up until about a year into a relationship, right? Like, for some people, you really do not know people. And even after, like, I've known, you know, unfortunately some cases where, you know, they dated, got married, and later on they found out the real truth and they've been dating for years. But, like, you can't figure somebody out on just one date. And I don't know why, even in the show, when these guys are like, oh, one date, we're done, like, I think they're doing a disservice not only to themselves, to the girls, but also to the show. Like, the show's tanking because of this structure, and I don't like it.
But is it tanking? Because did you know that this show is nominated for an Emmy?
what?
I'm not even shitting. Like, this is a real talk right now. I found this out yesterday, and I don't think I've been able to think straight since, because I'm like, whose fault is this? Like, whose fault is this for nominating this show for?
Let me play devil's advocate here, because if it's nominated for an Emmy, it does have good production value. Like, if you look at the scenes that they show, the background scenes, the drone footage, the aesthetics, it's actually really well put together. So I don't think, if that's what they're going on, if, like, the way the show is put together instead of, like, the quality of, like, because the contestants and the candidates, I don't think that makes a good show. I think it's the quality of, like, the production that makes it a good show. And honestly, like, there's some really good aesthetics to this show. I am not gonna lie. I will factor that in.
Yeah, I also think that, like, the couples interviews of, like, real life couples that are together.
That's the best part.
That's the best part, and I do think that adds to, like, the documentary like that. It's like a mixed genre of, like, documentary reality TV that, like, makes it a little bit more, like, realistic for people watching that are not brown, right? Like, imagine you don't have this lived experience of being brown watching this show, and you have the only notion of arranged marriage being, like, these two people met today and they got married, you know? Like, imagine that kind of naivete, like, going into a show like this and being like, okay, you know, this is different. This is different than what I expected, you know?
Yeah. Well, I did look it up. The Emmy is an outstanding unstructured reality program. So apparently it's not structured at all. I call bullshit.
Also, going back to the beginning where you have the couples basically, like, answer questions, you know, that's a ripoff from Dil To Pagal Hai. Dil To Pagal Hai does that in the beginning of the movie, and like that's really where they got that from.
Yeah, totally.
No, the show.
Am I surprised that they ripped off Bollywood? Absolutely not.
No.
It seems very on brand for them. But I know that they do have, like, a music producer specifically for the show too. Like, I do agree the production value is great. And that some of the characters are reality TV worthy and are entertaining, but, like, Emmy, like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. These Emmys, the way they work is these people campaign for these Emmys. A lot of money goes into it, and what happens is, like, Netflix kind of like pull strings, and they spent a lot of money campaigning for these like nominations and then campaigning for them to win. So it's maybe just political, man. Netflix wants to get more subscribers, and they want to push their reality TV content because their scripted content is not doing well. And Love is Blind is doing good. The Island one, whatever it was, is doing really good. And then Indian Matchmaking is doing really good. And I think that's where they want to focus because making these shows is very cheap. You don't pay any of the people on it. Producers don't make any money. And then you pocket everything and you can basically promote it as much as you want and get as many commercials as you want. It makes sense. They want to push for it.
Is that why WB is doing their bullshit and getting rid of HBO Max and going Discovery and going reality TV only?
Yeah, because they have
money play.
No, they actually have one of the biggest reality shows, which is 90 Day Fiance. That's owned by Discovery, and that makes them so much money. They're constantly going viral with their clips. It's like free promotion for Discovery, and it's free like ads.
Shit.
The plot thickens.
But still, I agree. I agree with Shiv. Like, this should not be an Emmy-worthy thing. You're right. It's probably all political, and but then what's the point of an Emmy? Like, I hate this.
Yeah. Well,
I have a question for you. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions, but I'm
Yes.
you can do whatever you like.
We're unscripted. We want to get an Emmy one day, okay?
Unstructured reality show.
Well, do they have Emmys for podcasts?
What do you feel about, like, how does the show make you feel being brown and like the concept of arranged marriages? Like, how does that make you feel after knowing people's knowledge of arranged marriages? Like, do you feel like you have to explain yourself more, less? Like, do you feel represented by this?
What I like about it is that people have this sense that arranged marriages are the same as forced marriages, right? And this show is doing a good job deconstructing that concept and that narrative that people have with it, right? So I do like that part. But the way they treat it like a resume and like that stuff, that's the negative, right? So it's good and bad. And I do like the fact, because whenever someone hears arranged marriage, they're like, oh, somebody forced you into this, right? Or like a child bride or something like that. And that's not the case. And now people are saying, oh, this is what an arranged marriage looks like. Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
Jazz, what about you?
So this show, there is good, there is bad. There's very, very little good though. Like, Urshneel is the good on this show, and I'm glad we can showcase stories like his, right? But at the end of the day, it's a reality TV show. People want the views. Like, I hate watching this show, right? I'm not exactly enjoying the show. I hate watching it because I'm just like, yes, I'm angry. I need to watch more just so I can bitch about it more, right? That's why I'm watching this show. I do it on this podcast. Like, I'm just bitching about it. It's not like a great show I'm like, head over heels for and like, oh, you have to watch it. Like, no, I'm watching it just to talk about it. I think that's what a lot of people are doing for the show too. Do I think it's good in like for us for representation? When you talked about good representation versus a responsible representation,
Yeah.
this is unfortunately good representation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Like I said, it's accurate, but I don't like it, and it's going
Right.
to showcase our worst sides. And some people may actually use this and promote more stereotypes about us. So,
But here's the thing, right? Like when I saw this the first season, I was like, good, expose this, right? There's colorism in our culture. There's people who won't date people who are Guyanese. There's like all this stuff, right? Expose it all, right? And then you get to season 2, nobody learned anything from it. No,
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
including Seema. Yeah. She did not
including
learn
Seema,
jack shit
100%
from
including
Seema.
Seema. Nobody's learning from the show. The show is another missed opportunity for what could be a good show, what could be responsible representation, what could be a show to help people. But no, it's just more trash reality TV.
So I think in 2 ways it works for me. One is good representation, one is bad. The good part, I think, is that like for brown people that are in the dating pool right now, I think that this kind of like in a sense normalizes for other races that are on apps that are looking to date other people, because I've heard a lot of like really sad stories about brown people being overlooked on apps, or obviously like facing a lot of like stereotypical situations, or people not even giving them a chance. So I think that in some sense the show does a good job of that, but unfortunately it is obviously only within our own race of people. So then it also makes it seem like we're just trying to like breed with our own peeps and like that's it, and there's no like looking beyond that scope, you know. And then I think that the worst part about it is what you mentioned, Neves, is like all the colorism and casteism, really exposing a lot of what South Asian like community just thrives off of, and the fact that none of the clients speak up against it. Like they all seem to be complicit with the fact that she's doing all of these things, or she has these like this whole clientele based off of these really like backwards ass notions that you have to be X height, earn this, or have this type of job title, and obviously look fair, et cetera, you know. And like that to me is the sad part about it, because it really does feel like then we have not progressed as a community, as a society, like, and that's just not great representation for us, because
another thing I don't like about this season specifically is that they shied away from all of that.
Yeah.
Right? Like this part is hidden in this season, the colorism, like everything you mentioned, right? It's all hidden in this season, and that's even worse if you ask me. Because at least like what Neves was saying, you know, I'm glad he was exposed. They were exposing it, right? We don't even have that anymore. Now it's like, oh, that problem's like, you know, swept under the rug, and that's a different issue.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I am curious about how season 3 is going to go, because the people in the UK definitely have a different culture than we have here, and I am very, very curious to see how that's going to go. What do you guys think about season 3?
I can't believe that there is a season 3, first of all. Yeah, that cliffhanger, I was like, you're kidding me right now. This is continuing, but
go back to that production value. That was such a good way to end that scene. Like she just casually, walking over Tower Bridge. I was like, this is why they got nominated for an Emmy. That was good production. That was slick.
Don't encourage this.
Right?
But I agree. I'm excited to see what like differentiates between the cultures, and if it's just going to stay in UK, because this one flipped between India and America, right? So like, you know, personally, if we're asking about like a wish list, I just want to see some Muslim people on the show. I think that would be great. I don't know why there hasn't been a single Muslim person
Be careful
here.
with that one.
And I do think that it's because Seema is Hindu that she maybe like doesn't want to go further and like explore, because she maybe doesn't want to be blamed for like mismatching people, or that she just doesn't have the database of people for that. But I mean, Arshneil is sick. And like, I would also like to see maybe like Christian people, because there's obviously like a Christian population in India too. A lot of South Indians are Christian. So to me, I just want it to be like broader, because if we are going to like count this as representation, then like, let's get a whole picture of what it's like to be brown on screen.
So I have some bad news about that.
Oh God.
Here's why I don't think that's going to happen. There's a show called Jewish Matchmaking on Netflix, or it's going to come out. There's going to be a show about Muslim matchmaking, which, you know, our, you know, homeboy Neves here may or may not be on there if it comes through. So, right, that's the issue with it. It's like, I think they're all going to segment it, and it's not going to work out well, especially for a country as large and as diverse as India. Yeah. And again, it's another disservice I think Netflix is doing here.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think, right? It's a money-making scheme, right? Why have it all in one show when you can split up 3 shows for each religion and make more money that way, right? It makes more sense. You get double the ads, you get double the people on the show, you get double the production value, and you can keep it separate. And like, it's about money. And if I was there just to make money, I would separate it into separate shows and then let people just like watch the shows that they want to watch.
Yeah,
you heard it here first. Racism and segregation is profitable.
Is that
segregation?
It is segregation. Like it's totally. And I think that also coming from someone that's in an interracial relationship, like I have like a very different perspective of the world. So like already this show to me is segregating brown people together and like not even looking at the entire world. So that pisses me off in and of its own. But then we already have problems between all these different religions within India, right? And like now it just seems like so we can't interact with one another? Like, it's perpetuating this ridiculous stereotype, right? Like, it's just reinforcing it. And like, that's what makes me really upset watching stuff like this. And like, why seeing Arshneil is such a cool thing, because, you know, even between Hindus and, I mean, I see it all the time as a wedding photographer, like when different religions get married to each other, when different people of ethnicities and backgrounds get married, like, it isn't that big of a deal, like the way that people make it seem. And like, it is just so beautiful to witness that I wish more people had that like lived experience that I had. Like, it's really hard to like connotate to people, but like, man.
That's very true. I'm actually here right now for a half Pakistani, half Iraqi wedding. So it's actually very cool. And we're doing stuff like we're having Iraqi food and we're doing all the cultural stuff. So it's really cool. So let's end this episode on a good note, because that's going to be really, really difficult for this episode.
This whole show is so problematic.
Yes.
But yes, yay multiculturalism.
Yes,
keep fighting for it.
Thank you so much for coming on our show. One more time, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at chivalry_INC and on TikTok at @Shiv_ALRY.
Oh, wow. That's a cool little thing that you did there, Jazz. That's awesome.
No, I'm getting good.
I'm getting good at this. All right, cool. Well, that's all we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and tune in for our next episode, which will be about She-Hulk.